continuing to facilitate communication between the Railway Heritage Trust, the applicant trust, and local residents to encourage understanding of the proposal and to ensure residents are kept updated on the progression of the project. The question the Chair put initially, Blair, was quite simply, given everything that's followed from Cabinet and since and heard today, is it the view of officers that that would still be achievable in terms of facilitating communication and encouraging understanding of the proposal?
Thanks, David, for the clarification. Yeah, I believe to the best of our ability, we would be able to support that.
I think, Chair, the answer, and members will work it out for themselves, is you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Councillor Maben.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for letting me back in. I'm a new councillor, just elected in May. This is the first time I've experienced a call-in. It's the first time I've had any experience of a community asset transfer. So I'm going to frame the question to my colleague, Maury Mackay, because she has a lot more experience than I do. We've been doing community asset transfers from 2013. This is the first one that's been subject to a call-in by GNS. And according to the officers earlier, to the best of their memory, this is the only one that's been subject to over 200 objections. What's happened here? How is this different? How is this comparing to previous community asset transfers? Because we seem to be in a bit of a mess with this one. What's went wrong and how does it compare to previous? Would be my question to Councillor Mackay. Thank you.
Again, I think it is about scale and response of the local community to it. You are correct. I haven't seen anything like this at all. I very much would have expected that the response as part of the process would have been more robust than it has to actually, if you like, offset the concerns raised by the local community and actually enable things to move forward. Because that hadn't happened, because that hasn't happened throughout the process, including the final bit of a consultation process, which was the public meeting, which took place, that it took 2 months after the public meeting for people who had attended the public meeting to be given a minute of that public meeting. Because of that, my concern was, again, as Councillor Adams has said, I am left with concerns about the process. Again, I have heard and I very much respect our head of internal audit and what has been presented, but I am unfortunately still left with those concerns. I, like Blair, very much hope that at the end of the day, with engagement, there will be the opportunity to move towards a positive outcome here. That's what I would always want. For me, if I am in a relationship and trust has been dented, broken, or in any way upset, the way forward to restore that is an acknowledgement that there is something, that there is a mistake has been made, there is something wrong, an apology is given, and then there is the opportunity to move forward to re-establish trust at that point. And that's very much what I hope has the potential still to be an outcome here, which is exactly why the word jeopardy. So it is about, it is in the balance if this has still the potential to be something that is successful or not. That's, again, I am doing my best to answer the question sincerely and to give the thinking and the understanding and the experience behind.
You have another question.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the response. I also believe this building comes under common good. Is this the first community asset transfer that's come under the common good phrase, and how does that make it slightly different from other community asset transfers? That would be to Blair and to Maureen. I understand it was extended because of common good. Is there anything else that makes this a stronger or more robust process because of this common good thing?
Through you, Chair, we believe that there has been other CAT transfers as part of common good. It would have been prior to the legislation that now exists around about community empowerment, and I would just need to go and check that fact before fully committing to that. Thank you.
Chair, just to clarify that there are three things in play. There is the original council CAT process, which was developed in-house and applied in-house from 2013 before the Community Empowerment Act came in. Then you have the Community Empowerment Act, which gives a statutory version of our homespun or home developed process. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. The process is absolutely robust and has delivered 60 odd outcomes in 10 years. And then the third thing is, if the land that is subject to a considered CAT transfer happens to be held in the common good by the council, which simply means for the benefit of members, it was likely donated to one of our predecessors 100 years ago, but for the benefit of the public. So you're kind of holding it in trust for the public rather than just outright ownership on the land certificate. Then we have to petition, and that's the protection to the public interest. The council, whether it's under the CAT process or not, needs to get the sheriff's permission through the legal process by petitioning the court to get the permission to actually make the transfer. So the cabinet decision wouldn't have been the final act anyway. It would have been subject to the common good and the sheriff giving the okay to that disposal of that land in the form of a lease, not sale, not transfer title, but even if you're granting a lease, the concept being if the council does anything that removes something that's meant to be held for the benefit of everyone, the sheriff also needs to be satisfied that meets the test, that it's in the broader public interest, that there's benefit that flows. So the common good process is a legal one. It's a petition to the court. What colleagues have outlined is running in tandem to the CAT process was there was also a level of consultation to allow us to take forward if cabinet approved this, and if that approval remains the output following this process, then that consultation and this process would together form the basis of the petition to the sheriff, and we would then look to persuade the sheriff, and presumably any interested member of the public that wanted to oppose it would be entitled to do so, but we would need to still satisfy the sheriff that in making the grant of this lease in this context, that we are not giving away the crown jewels, as it were, and not unreasonably interfering with public enjoyment of the overall park. So that would come down to proportionality in the scale. It's one cabin within the overall park. So that is a legal process, and ultimately it leads to a petition to the sheriff. But what colleagues have done is undertaken that consultation so that if the cabinet decision stands, we're in a position then to move it forward and make the application to the court. Very rarely does the court refuse them, but only because authorities know what's required to get them approved and don't put them up if they won't meet the test.
Councillor Mackay, Councillor Maben indicated that he would like you to answer, but obviously you don't have to after David's.
Thank you very much. I have nothing to add. Our monitoring officer has answered.
Okay, members, does anybody else have any questions at this point? Okay, I just have one quick one, and it is a quick one, and it's directed to Craig. So the opening hours for the project, once it's established within the cabin, it's noted on the minutes. Can you just confirm that for me, please?
In terms of the information that first went out from Kilmarnock Station Railway Heritage Trust, the opening hours of the cabin would be 9 AM to 9 PM. The services for the counselling and cognitive behavioural therapy would be indicated at 9 AM to 5 PM in normal office hours.
Thanks very much, Craig. Thank you. Okay, folks, there's no more questions, so I'm going to have a comfort break, if that's all right with everyone. I think we deserve it. Yep. And we'll get you back here at 1 PM. Is that okay? 1 PM long enough for you? Yep. Thanks very much. Thank you.